Stop. Stop. Welcome to a grey and dull Timișoara. We've got a day and a half here. We're really looking forward to it. We're just in one of the main squares with this beautiful church behind us. But most importantly, right now we're getting breakfast at this little bakery here. We're lining up. We're really excited because loads of the stuff in here is vegan, and they very clearly say they have produce to post. So we're excited and we're hungry. I might say we've gone a little bit overboard by getting 4 pastries, but we didn't have supper last night, so we're very hungry. So we've got like a cherry roll. That was nice. We've got a cherry roll. We've got a sesame roll. I can't get them all out at the moment. A vanilla swirl and an apple strudel as well. Can you help me with the apple strudel? Ooh. Good. That was all pastry, but it's really good. We finished our 4 pastries. Definitely could have had a 5th. Then we popped into the church, which turns out to be the Metropolitan Cathedral in the area. It was actually only built in the 30s, but it's a really beautiful building, really gorgeous on the outside. And now we're going to Danny's top pick for any city ever. We're going to the Communist Objects Museum. Looking forward to it?
Some communist stuff.
We will go and look at some communist stuff. So we're inside the museum, and it's set up a little bit like an apartment or a house. So the first room here is like a bedroom. What are you reading, Danny?
It's a bit about Ceausescu in my women's magazine.
So it's the woman's magazine, but then on the very first page is a beautiful picture of Ceausescu and another one of him and his wife.
Great picture and some stuff about Ceausescu.
They've got all these little kitschy items here. This is the bed. Got a kid's bedroom here. With some more freaky toys. What is this? Oh, they're weird. Kitchen here. We have different types of grinders. Oh, I think that's a stove, isn't it, here? Lovely communist fridge. I'm just about to find out. No, no pickles. Unfortunately. Yeah, so this is quite a cool little museum. It's free, and it's not very far from the centre, so it's worth coming to have a little look, especially if you're interested in this kind of stuff. We're now walking through Victory Square, which is the way we came last night when we arrived, and it was dark. And it's a really massive square with some really cool and big imposing buildings, like that one over there. Yeah. It's a really impressive building though. And then at the bottom end there's a theatre, and yesterday they had a big stage up and they were doing loads of really cool traditional dancing as well. So that was really nice to see. festival of ethnic minorities, so I'm guessing that's what it was yesterday. Because actually the ones that we were watching, they weren't singing in Romanian, they were singing in something Slavic. So that, I guess, would explain it. Within quite a small area, there's 3 big squares here, and then this one is Liberty Square that we've come to. And this is all very colourful. And again, it looks like it was all part of the festival. We've come to the Revolution Memorial Museum, and just before we go in, we've already found a piece of the Berlin Wall.
This bit was in Potsdamer Platz.
In Potsdamer Platz, ah. We've come out of the Revolution Museum, and to be honest, the whole thing's quite dry, isn't it? It's presented with just loads of boards and loads of writing to read, and a lot of it's about the history of communism, but we did learn about the revolution in Romania, which actually started in this city here in 1989. So this was the first place to start having protests against Ceausescu, and they tried to hide it for a while, but it very quickly spread across the country and then became what toppled the Ceausescu regime. But yeah, I didn't know it started here. Did you?
Yeah.
You did know?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't, so I learned something new anyway. Yeah, now we're gonna just go.
The old man as well.
Oh yes, yeah. So we met the director of the museum, who's a guy, he must be in his 80s at least. And
It was about 400.
yeah. And he came very seriously and he said, when you're finished looking around the museum, you have to come and talk to me. I have something to ask you. We were like looking at each other. Like, what could it be? What could it be? He's like, we need to talk about Brexit. Okay.
This again.
This again, yeah. So we sat and he told us about how bad Brexit is, and we're like, mate, you don't need to tell us. Like, we know.
He was shot in the protest here.
Yeah.
He was shot in the legs. That's why he has a walking stick.
Yeah, he was
Quite
very
interesting.
involved in the protests here.
Yeah. No, he runs a museum about him.
Well, you were saying how important it is, the kind of the war against forgetting, didn't he?
Yeah. Why the monuments are here
And apparently there's 12 around the city,
yeah.
so you can go on a little trail and go and find them all.
Yeah.
We've come to Union Square, and this is probably one of the prettiest squares that we've come to. All of the buildings are really nicely painted. There's a couple of churches either side, an art gallery, some nice restaurants. Let me swing the camera around and show you. Big gallery there, and then this house here. Can you remember what it was called, Dan?
Sembrook, I think it is.
And it's just known for its architecture and its beautiful colours. So this little section down here where I'm walking down now used to be the first mosque that was built in this city, and it was here for about a century before the Jesuits took it over as a church. And then the whole thing got dismantled. It got built into another church in the early 1900s, got dismantled again, and now it's this little square here. And then it has a statue of St. George there, but it's also a remembrance statue to the revolution. This afternoon we're leaving Romania and we're heading over to Serbia. Romania's been such a lovely surprise for us. We didn't know an awful lot about it, and actually we've spent most of our time in Transylvania, and the whole place has been really nice. Every city we've been to, every town we've been to has just looked like a magical fairy tale, hasn't it? It's been so pretty, it's been so lovely. Definitely really enjoyed it. And I think that's how I'm going to think of Romania now, as like a fairy tale land. To get into Serbia is a bit of a hoo-ha because there's no public transport running from Romania to Serbia, and there's no trains either because of some kind of political stuff that I don't know about. But it means that we have to get a private company to take us across the border, and we're heading over to Belgrade. We're heading over to Belgrade, which is only about 3 hours drive away, so it won't take us very long, but yeah, a bit annoying to have to sort that out. But that's what we're doing next, so we'll see you in Belgrade.